Alright everyone, we are cruising nicely along the northern bypass and we are somewhere in between Githogoro slums and Maroroi Estate. And today we are going to visit some 3 neighborhoods in a row. And the first one is Windsor. Actually, it is on my right. You can see some nice establishment right here. There is actually a beautiful golf course within the estate, but let's save that for the later. The other 2 neighborhoods are the Garden Estate and Thome Estate. Both are in Nairobi County and within the larger Kasarani sub-county. I'll tell you more about that. But first, let's just explore these neighborhoods and see how the rich lives here in Nairobi. Are there any businesses in these estates? And just in case you want to live here in the near future, I'll be telling you more about the house prices, also the rent range in case you want to rent a house. Remember, there are no apartments here. But before we get deep into our 3 neighborhoods, let me take this opportunity to welcome you to our YouTube channel, Village to Town TV, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent. So kindly consider subscribing. It's absolutely free and we'll appreciate. Back to the video, and we are in the Garden Estate. And for your information, I've just passed one of the prestigious schools in this country. It is on my right, and it goes by the name Braeburn Garden Estate International School. And that tells you the kind of neighborhood we are in. Just to give you a quick sneak peek of the kind of schools we are talking about here, I just saw their fee structure online. And boy, oh boy, I must admit, it motivated me to work even harder. So check this out. If you have a baby and you want him or her to attend the school's crash class, well, they are using the word crash, but I understand it's the old English for a nursery school. So here's the deal, Mr. Parent. You will need to pay a total of 772,000. That is the basic fee. You will also need to add a total of 110,000 per year. That is the lunch fee. I'm sure you don't want to know the annual fee for an 11 grader. And maybe someday we'll have an opportunity to showcase the school. But in the meantime, you need to work harder, my people. Well, enough with school shenanigans. We are about to start witnessing some beautiful mansions along the road. Remember, I told you that Garden Estate is not a middle class or a lower class neighborhood. And one thing you should note is that this road will take us all the way to the Thika Superhighway. We'll be hitting there in a few minutes at a point called Roasters, just past Allsops, if you are quite familiar with the road. But before then, we'll pass through Thome Estate, so stay tuned. Well, I can see some beautiful expensive mansions on my right. That was a nice one. In fact, a quick check on the internet, I found a property in Garden Estate going for 80 million Kenya shillings, and going with the current exchange rate, that is about 616,570 US dollars. And so just in case you want to move here in future, that's the kind of amount you'll have to cough. Well, I feel like the amount is worth it. As you can see, the place is super cool and very clean. I can also see some more houses on my left. And just in case you are interested in renting a property here, I saw one in the internet going for 250,000 Kenya shillings. That is per month. It is a 4-bedroom house here in Garden Estate. I also saw a 5-bedroom going for 350,000 Kenya shillings per month. And I'm sure with that kind of information, you can do your quick maths and see the kind of people who lives here. And I'm sure the writing on the wall is so clear that if you plan to move here, you must be moneyed. Just get your money right. Well, let's check other numbers before we go to Thome Estate. And according to the Kenyan Bureau of Statistics, the Garden Estate has a total population of 19,201 people, where 9,827 are males, while 9,373 are females. You can see the gender gap is not that big. It's about 500 in favor of women. And in terms of the population density, there are 1,525 people living in a square kilometer here in the Garden Estate. The estate total land area is about 12.6 kilometers squared. I'm told that we are now entering Thome Estate, and you can see the two estates are just neighbors. And I'm told that once upon a time, this area was a coffee estate until the 1970s. In fact, history goes that in 1913, a guy by the name Jacob Hirschfeld, who was a Jew or an Israeli settler, came here in Kenya, and he acquired the expansive land that covered the whole of present-day, whole of GSU headquarters, Thome Estate, USIU area, the Garden Estate, the National Youth Service headquarters, and part of the modern-day Ruaraka. That is along Thika Road and going all the way to the Windsor Golf Club. Well, the guy planted coffee on the land, and that was until the 1970s, as I told you, when the Kenyan government took his land and divided it for sale. Currently, as you can see, the neighborhood is zoned as a low-density residential suburb with single-family homes. And so just in case you are a developer and you are fond of developing high-rise buildings and investing in apartments, well, this is not the place for you. Take your love somewhere else. Anyway, that was a joke. Pun was intended. Don't come from Mr. Lone Traveler. I have enough problems. Well, in terms of the security, I'm told that the area is well secured. And one of the reasons is that this is a leafy suburb. You don't expect to find muggers or petty thieves in such neighborhoods. But I'm told that this was not always the case. In fact, in the 90s, there was an upsurge in crime that made residents wary, and some moved to safer neighborhoods in the city. Well, in terms of the infrastructure, the neighborhood is well covered. In fact, right in front is the sub-county county offices. The gate is right here on my right. And next to the county offices, there's a school, which is Garden Estate Secondary School. That's a public school, of course. And as you can see, the roads are well tarmacked. And remember, we are not very far from the Nairobi Central Business District. We are about 9.6 kilometers away. That's exactly 6 miles. And in a few, we'll be hitting Thika Road. I had promised you that. In a few seconds, you'll start seeing some signs. In fact, if you are observant enough, I'm sure you have noted that the serenity is slowly disappearing. You can see some traffic jam and some high-rise buildings. And just in case you didn't know, we are in Roysambu constituency, which is one of the 17 constituencies in Nairobi City. I'm sure you can see the setting is urban. It is also one of the 290 constituencies in Kenya. There are also some nice establishments around this place. The Garden City Mall, one of the biggest shopping malls in the country, is around the corner. The Kenyan brewery headquarters is not far from here too. In fact, the company is the biggest brewer in Eastern Central Africa. There is also another establishment, a nightclub to be precise, that goes by the name Quiver Thika Road. Quite popular with revelers, is also in the vicinity. And also Kasarani Sports Center, the biggest stadium in the country, is also about 2 kilometers from here, just a walking distance. And speaking of Kasarani, it is also good to note that the area is in Kasarani sub-county, which is one of the most popular sub-counties in Nairobi. We have visited quite a number of neighborhoods in the sub-county. In fact, we started with the most congested, such as Zimmerman, Githurai 44, and Kahawa West. These videos are on this channel. You can go and check them later. And if you watch those videos, you will quickly note that Thome and Garden Estates are the cream de la cream of Kasarani sub-county. This is where the rich lives. In fact, let me share some numbers about the sub-county. I'm told that it has a total population of 780,656 people, and that is according to the Kenyan Bureau of Statistics, while the average population density in the sub-county is 9,056 people living in a square kilometer. Well, comparing that with the average population density for the Garden Estate, which we saw was 1,525 people living in a square kilometer, you will notice that the Garden Estate is a leafy suburb in the Kasarani sub-county. Well, in case you have noted, I'm just joining Thika Superhighway. I'm exactly at a point called Roasters, or the Mountain Mall. In fact, the mall is on my left. Well, let me give you the general distribution for the sub-county before I turn around and head to the Windsors, which is associated with one John Michuki, a powerful minister of Kibaki administration. Remember, we are remaining with one estate. And I'm told that out of the 780,000 people living in Kasarani sub-county, 381,234 are men, which is about 48.8% of the total population, while 399,385 are women, accounting for 51.2%. Well, according to the statistics, the intersex account for 37 people in the entire sub-county, which is not a huge number as you would have expected. In terms of the age distribution, those aged 65 and above, the old-timers, are only 7,316 in the entire sub-county, which is a trend around the city. Well, as you can see, I'm back to the Northern Bypass and I'm approaching Windsor Estate. And in fact, the Windsor Golf Course is on my right. But I want to leave at this point. Please make sure you watch the video until the end. But in case you have watched this video until this far, it means that you like this kind of stuff. So kindly consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, Village to Town TV, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent of Africa. Well, speaking of the continent, it doesn't mean that we are confined to the African continent. In fact, we have done some neighborhoods across the European continent. You can go and check our videos on Rome and the Vatican City. They are posted on this channel. Also consider liking the video so that it can be recommended to as many people as possible, and smash the notification bell so that every time we post, you will be among the first few people to be notified. Thank you.